Welcome everyone, Chodesh Tov. We are now in the month of Av. What an interesting month. So this month has the most difficult day of the year and it also has the most joyous day of the year. So the first half of the month, just like the last month of Tammuz, we are mourning the separation of the divine in our worlds. We are giving ourselves time and space to grieve any unrealized goals, damaged relationships. We are given space to feel the arc of human experiences. And Tammuz and the first half of Av really calls for us to sit with those painful, difficult emotions of suffering, of loss, and give them space to be processed and breathing into them with kindness and curiosity. The good news of this month is that the second half of the month, starting with the 15th of Av, Tu B'Av, actually shifts from a Gevura energy to a Chesed, lighter energy. And that's why Tu B'Av is the day of love. It's when we go out and find our lover, or we reconnect with the love in our own life. And actually, most importantly, we reestablish our inherent love for ourselves. So it shifts from mourning to love and connection and openness. And the interesting thing about this month is that the sense, according to Sefer Yetzirah, is the sense of listening. And if we look into our history, all destruction comes about from the inability to listen to one another, to hear from each other. We can look at the first time the society destroys itself is the Tower of Babel. And they weren't able to hear each other. They couldn't speak the same language, and therefore a disunity occurred. So, to rebuild our vessels of listening, we can strengthen and reconstruct relationships into relationships of love and connection and holiness and positivity. So, this month calls for us to tap into the sense of listening to the people around us, not just the words they say, but the messages behind the words. What's their deeper message that they're trying to communicate with us? And it's also to listen to ourselves, because before we can listen to those around us, we have to be able to tune inwards and listen to our own suffering, our own pain, so that we can transform this month into a time of healing and light. And it says in the Zohar, there is no light that which comes from the darkness. So there's no greater light than the light that comes from the darkest places. So to really enter this sense of deep listening of Av, we're going to start by finding a comfortable seat wherever you are. I'm in the Jerusalem forest, so welcome. You can see some beautiful olive trees behind me. But we'll start by closing the eyes and activating the inner sense of listening. So we'll start by listening to the furthest sound away from you. Stretching as far as you can away from your center. Just noticing the sounds without resisting them or judging them or thinking too hard. Just listen as an open vessel with a softness and a curiosity. We spend so much of our day in the sense of sight, looking at others, at ads, at social media and television. When we close the gates of the eyes and open our inner sense of listening, we can start to tune into the unity of creation. Now that we've explored the furthest sound, we're going to draw the awareness inwards and listen to the closest sound, what's right around you. And maybe bringing it even deeper inwards and listening within. Maybe the sound of your breath, the gentle inhales and soft exhales. Maybe you can tune into the heartbeat. And again, without judgment, just with gentleness. And the Baal Shem Tov says that whatever we see or hear is divine providence. So anything that we hear throughout the day is divinely put there for us to absorb. So this is not a month of speaking or expressing. It's a month of absorbing, of receiving the universe as is. And we'll start to deepen our inhales, breathing in through the nose. The belly expands. And exhale through that constriction of the back of the throat. Again, inhale through the nose, expanding the belly. And exhale through the back of the throat. Keep going like this, tuning in to the sounds of your breath. And when you're ready, we'll open the eyes. We're going to bring that right leg in front, lengthening long. Curl the toes towards the heart. So we're flexing the foot. And we're going to rotate the navel towards the toes. We're going to inhale the hands to the sky. Reach through the fingertips and exhale, fold forward. A slight bend in the knee is perfectly fine. And we'll breathe in, heart towards the toes, and exhale, folding in, following your breath. So this first half of the month is a month where we process the difficult emotions. So anything arising right now, whether it's an uncomfortable sensation or an interesting emotion that you usually kind of suppress or push away, invite it to the front and center of your attention and breathe in and around it as if you're creating a wide open space. One more breath like this. Beautiful. And we'll bring it in. Feet come together. Butterfly those knees out. Opening the outer hips, the inner groin. And while you're here, you can give your feet a nice massage for all the hard work you've done in this past month of Tammuz and in this month of Av. We want to show ourselves as much gentleness and kindness as possible as we work through these difficult times. And we'll find stillness with the knees. Walk the fingers forward. Turn the gaze inwards. Soften the shoulders to the ground. Feel the palms resting on the earth. Breathe into that low back, arching the spine, And again, returning inwards in this month of listening, listening deeply within. A few breaths here. And lift the gaze, walk the fingertips up. Left leg lengthens long. Flex that foot, toes curl inwards, and we'll rotate the navel over that left leg. We'll inhale, reaching the hands to the sky, lengthen long, and exhale, fold forward. Again, those micro movements, inhaling and exhaling to deepen. What is arising now that is alive and present? Whatever it is, whether it's a feeling of joy or discomfort and unease, we welcome it with the same gentle attention. Few more breaths like this. Beautiful. And we'll bring the feet together, butterfly those knees, coming back to center. If our thoughts are starting to disperse elsewhere, just bring it back through the sense of listening. Listening to your breath, listening to the movements. Beautiful. And then we'll bring those legs in front of us, bending the knees again as you need. And we're going to embody the letter of the month, which is the Tess. So we'll inhale, the fingertips to the sky, and exhale, folds forward. So the Tess is a shape of inwards movement, which reminds us to again turn the gaze inwards. And Tess stands for Tov, which is good. Tes is also the least common letter in the whole Torah. It's the only letter that's not on the Luchos. So it stands for Tov Haganuz, a hidden goodness. And that's because in this month of Av, even with all the difficulty and the mourning and destruction, there is a hidden goodness that Hashem plants within every piece of suffering. So breathe into this posture as if we are uncovering the hidden goodness within our own struggles. Each intentional breath gets us closer to revealing this Tov. And we're also gazing towards the womb, and Tess is Gematria 9, which is like the 9 months of pregnancy and also is shaped like a womb if you look at the letter. So just like a baby is hidden in the womb, ready to be born, our goodness is hidden deep within the struggle, ready to be revealed. We just need to do the work. Few more breaths here, really deepening into this posture. Breathing into your Tet. Beautiful. And we'll walk the hands up, giving your legs a massage on the way, maybe stopping in some points that need some extra relief. Maybe the hips, maybe around the knees. Showering ourselves with loving kindness. Beautiful. And we'll rock the knees together. And we're going to wrap that Tov like a cloak around us, surrounding ourselves with goodness. And you can close your eyes and bring a color to mind, of an image, a word that really brings out goodness for you. And just wrap it around. You're surrounding yourself with the energy that you create. And we'll circle the other way. Keep breathing into the low back, getting into those shoulders, opening. Beautiful. Last breath. Nice. And we'll come to center. We're going to come into all fours. So we'll bring the hands under the shoulders. Knees are stacked under the hips. And instead of traditional cat and cow, we're just going to circle in any movement that the body feels today. And the avoda, the work here is to tune into your inner wisdom of the body, listening to your body's wisdom. Trying not to think too hard about the movements, dropping from the thinking mind into the moving, breathing body. There's no right or wrong movements here, whatever feels good today. Listening, tuning into the breath, to the heartbeat. We've got some red ants here today, joining our yoga flow. Few more breaths like this. And we'll inhale, right fingertips to the sky. And exhale, sweep that hand under the body, nestle the shoulder down, right hemisphere softens on the mat. And what I love about this pose is the open palm, which is the energy of Av, receiving from above. And if it's in your practice, you can take that left arm and bind all the way around. Breathing into the upper right wing of the back. And if your hips are nudging to the left, just gently rock them back to the right. Deepening here, listening to whatever is arising within. Beautiful. And we'll wrap that hand around. Inhale, fly the right hand back up. And exhale, sink it down. Other side, inhale, left arm sweeps up. Fly that arm under the body. Left hemisphere softens to the mat. And bind that right arm up and around. Open palms. Av is the time of receiving divine wisdom. And if we can just get out of our own way, empty our own cup, we have so much more space to receive. Re-establishing your connection with your breath here. Opening that left wing of the back. Rocking the left hip to the left. And finding ease in the discomfort here. So where can you soften? Beautiful. We'll wrap that hand around. Come back to center. So from tabletop, we're going to lift the knees. Send the hips up and back, pressing the chest towards the top of the thighs. A bend in the knees is perfectly fine today. Otherwise, sink the heels down, lengthen the spine. Anything heavy from this past month, imagining it cascading down the spine towards the mat. Growing the crown towards the ground. Breathing here and entering into a place of silence. This month is about sitting in the silence, and it's from the silence that all creativity and all life emerges from. So each breath brings you deeper into quietude. And we'll inhale, the right leg floats up, bend the knee and open the hip, gaze under the arm. Roll out the ankle, yawn out the whole side body. And then we'll bring the hips parallel, so top of the thigh is facing the ground. And we'll step that right foot all the way through. Beautiful. So you might want a little wider stance to find your balance. We'll inhale, coming all the way up. Fingertips reach to the sky. Float that right knee over the heel. Sink the hips down. Lengthening long through the side body. Deepening through the hips. Listening to how your body and how your thoughts respond to unease. And how can you bring more softness and gentleness? There's a bee on my leg. So let's all pray that this bee flies away soon. But meanwhile, I'm going to listen to the sound of the bee. Tune in to the praises of creation. Reach a little higher and exhale. We're going to twist to the right. Reaching through the fingertips, softening the shoulders. Breathing deeply here. 2 more breaths. And inhale, sweep it on up. Exhale, open the heart, spreading the sternum, goalpost arms, smiling above. Exhale, bring it in, puff up the back of the heart. Inhale, open. Exhale, bring those forearms together. Inhale, open. And exhale, widen the stance and circle the arms all the way down. Nice. We'll step back to plank, pressing through the heels. Navel lifts towards the spine and then up to the heart. Finding that navel of strength here, that through the difficulty we can continue, we can move forward from the strength. And we'll lower the knees to the ground. Lower all the way to the mat. Feel the heart resting on the ground. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Lift the tops of the thighs. Breathe into the chest. Lengthen through the crown. And exhale, downward facing dog. Av is a time when we enter a state of heightened awareness. Listening is really the art of paying attention. So we'll go through that flow on the other side, really paying attention deeply to the present moment, to our body, to our breath, to whatever is arising within. Inhale, left leg floats to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Gaze up to the sky. Yes, the sun is in my face. If you were wondering, we're going to smile brightly. And then parallel the hips. Top of the foot faces downwards. And step that foot all the way through. Widen the feet, hip width distance apart or wider if you need. Inhale, lift to standing. Palms are energized towards each other. We're going to grow the side body. We're going to lift that top thigh towards the sky. Keep sinking the hips down, floating the knee over the heel. A few breaths like this. And it says in Kabbalah that at every moment, all of creation is singing praises to Hashem, to the Creator. And the question is, can we tune in and hear this song of creation? It's constantly playing for us. And not only can we tune in, can we join in this collective, universal song of creation? Yearning upwards, yearning for deeper connection to our source. Exhale, follow the pinky finger forward, wrapping it around. Twist to the left, reaching through the fingertips. Where can you soften? Maybe it's the forehead, around the temples, the jaw. Notice where you're clenching. Can you bring some more loving kindness into your body? Inhale to lift. Exhale, open the arms wide. Spread the heart. Breathe into the chest. Exhale, puff up the back of the heart. Inhale, open and lift. Offer it up to the sky, to the divine. Exhale, bring it in. Last one, inhale, open. And lift to the sky, lengthen, and sweep the arms down to the mat. Step it back to plank. We are all witnessing each other on this journey, giving strength to each other through the destructions, through the pain. We need each other to move forward and to support one another. We'll lower the knees down and bring the body to the ground, to this sacred earth beneath us, pausing for a moment to tune in to that song of creation. Even if you're practicing inside, you can gently put an ear down and tune inwards to the ground, listening to this earth's wisdom, that really God created the earth with wisdom. It says truth sprouts from the ground. So activating that inner ear towards our earth. And then we'll inhale, upward facing dog. Shoulder blades pull together, smile wide. And exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze right and left. Dip one shoulder and then the other shoulder, finding whatever soft movements you need to deepen into this posture. And now that we know that flow, we're going to go through it, breath to movement. And I want you to think, if your body was a tune, what sound would it make? So inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, sweep it down and around to twist. Inhale to lift. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, open. Inhale, lift. And exhale, sweep it down. We'll flow and meet in down dog, however you want to get there. Two breaths here. Are we paying attention? Are we dipping our awareness inwards? Are we listening to this present moment? Other side, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to reach. Exhale, open. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, offer it up. Inhale, lift to the sky. Exhale, sweep it on down. We'll step back to plank. Always option to skip this. Lower. Inhale. Upwards facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the back constriction of the throat. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale, let it out. Keep breathing like this, listening to the texture and the length of the breath, the quality of the breath. Tune into your breath as if your breath was a river sending you floating messages. Inhale, right leg lifts. We're going to change it up. Exhale, step it through. This time, bring that back heel down. So inhaling up to warrior one stance. Press those hips down. Inhale the hands to the sky. Exhale, interlace the hands behind you. Press the knuckles down. Lift the heart to the sky. Stay right here if this is deep enough for you. Otherwise, exhale, humble warrior. Floating the knuckles over the skull. And humble warrior reminds us that listening comes from a deep sense of humility, removing our own ego to receive another life story with openness and presence. Deep breath here, and inhale, we'll lift on up. Exhale, open to star pose, hug the heels in, and then bring the hips down, tuck the toes inward so the heels are wide, and we'll fold forward. So your hands are going to come wide in front of you, press the hips back. Wisdom of the heart trickles downwards. Our thoughts slow. A few more breaths here. And we'll bring the hands to the hips. We'll lift up through the core. Circle the hands forward. And we'll flow. We'll meet in down dog. Up to you how you get there. Two breaths here. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through that back constriction of the throat. And the bottom of the exhale. We'll inhale that left leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Bring that right heel down. Both hip points are pointing forward and inhaling to the sky. Exhale, interlace those hands, press them down. Open the chest. Pull those backs of the shoulders together. And exhale, humble warrior. Thinking of where in life can we receive more? Can we put down our guard a little bit more to listen, to hear another? Crown of the head floats downwards. And inhale, we'll lift. Exhale, star pose. Energize through the palms. Remembering here that it's okay to have big emotions. It's okay to give space to process, to give time to sit and breathe with discomfort. Bring the hands to the hips. Bring the heels wide, and this time we'll interlace the hands behind us. Press them down and fold forward. Widen the sit bones, opening the backs of the legs. Allowing yourself to feel good here. Giving yourself permission to just breathe. And we'll bring the hands down to the mat and to the hips and use your core, lift all the way up. Circle the hands to the front, step back to plank, lower to the back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll inhale the right leg to the sky once again, setting up for pigeon. Exhale, right knee comes to the outer right wrist. And usually I have your shin as parallel as possible, but we're going to bring that heel to the left hip bone. Come up on the fingertips. Breathe into the chest. Stay right here if this is deep enough. Otherwise, we're going to do that same twist we did at the beginning towards the left knee. So inhaling, left arm to the sky. Exhale, weave it under. Open the palm. Left hemisphere, which is of communication and connection and listening, softens to the ground. Possibly come into that bind, breathing into that outer hip, softening into this month, allowing yourself to be held and supported by the energy of this month. We're not working against it. We are letting it fuel us and our spiritual work. So riding the wave of the first half of the month of mourning and difficulty, and then cultivating our vessels of listening to get to Tu B'Av, the holiday of openness and love and chesed. And we'll circle that arm around. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, bring that left leg, wrap it around, hug it in. Knee to the chest. Sit here for a moment, giving yourself a nice, deep embrace. And we can even come into a little twist here, so bringing that left arm up and back, gazing over that left shoulder. We're growing through the crown on the inhale, and we're deepening into the twist on the exhale. Beautiful. And we'll do a little twist to the front. Have fun with it. If you got lost in the twist, no worries. We're coming into pigeon on the other side. Send that left leg back. Come up onto the fingertips, opening wide. And exhale. Come forward. Or we're going to do that nice twist. So right hand flies up to the sky. Exhale. Sweep it under. And I don't want to lose my hearing there. But nestle that shoulder down, open the palm. So our palms are open. We're allowing ourselves to receive whatever is available to us right now. Listening to the sounds in the room and the sounds around you and the sounds within you. And maybe even tuning in to that deeper voice within. And this reminds me of a story of Elijah the prophet when he went looking for God in all these big things, in fire, in wind, and hurricanes. And it says Elijah found God in the still, soft voice. And it's this still, soft voice that we are tuning into this month, within us and within all of creation. And it's within that still, soft voice that we can connect deeply to the essence, to the song of this world, our Creator speaking to us. And wherever you are, you'll lift up right hand to the sky and wrap that front leg around, knee into the chest. Giving yourself a nice embrace. It's okay. Whatever's arising right now is okay. This is my journey. This is my process. We'll lift the hand up and over, twist over that right shoulder. Right ear is reaching behind us. And we'll come forward. We'll come onto the knees. This month of Av is the element of fire. The first half of the month, we mourn the destructive fire that creates chaos and black smoke. And the second half of Av, we celebrate constructive fire, which is a bright light that brings passion and unity. And part of yoga and prayer is choosing to engage with our own resistance. And when we actively choose to engage with our resistance, we're already channeling it towards a place of growth and positivity. So we're going to harness our inner fire, which is right under the navel, through breath of fire. I encourage everyone to do it, except if you're pregnant or on your first or second day on your cycle, then please just breathe deeply in and out through your mouth. Otherwise, we're going to bring the hands to the navel. It's going to be an audible exhale through the nose. The navel suctions back towards the spine and then naturally refills. So join me when you're ready. Please stop if you're feeling dizzy. Beautiful. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out. Closing the eyes, tuning into that inner fire in the navel. Beautiful. We're going to take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale, bringing awareness, gathering it under the navel, your inner fire. This inner fire can be channeled into passion, into love, into unity, into holiness. So gathering these fire elements within you. And we'll come into child's pose and feeling that heat rise from the low belly up into the heart space. Warming the heart with love, preparing the heart to open wide for Tu B'Av. Sink the palms into the mat. And then we'll wrap that heat from the front of the heart to the back of the heart. We often don't spend so much time here, but the back of the heart is where we receive from. So it's here that we can receive love, where we can receive another's story through being a vessel, through opening to listen. Melting the forehead into the mat as a reminder to tune inwards. And then from here, we'll just wrap around to the back. Bring the knees into the chest. And notice who you're carrying with you in your heart today. Through struggle, through difficulty, or through connection and love. Whoever it is, bring that person to the center point of your heart and breathe into them strength. Breathe into them love. And the avoda of this month is compassion. Compassion to ourselves through times of suffering, and compassion to others by listening and being an open presence for them. And the word for compassion is come, being with, passion, suffering, being present with suffering. So just like when we walk into a mourner's home, we're not supposed to speak. We're just supposed to listen and be silent. Being with our own suffering and other sufferings require that we just be there. We just show up deeply with presence. And we'll open wide into Shavasana. My head is turned because of the bright Jerusalem summer sun, the Av sun. But please find a comfortable spot. And the root of Shavasana is Shabbat. And Shabbat is entering into this inner quietude. So allowing our body to fall into silence and quietude. And Shabbat receives from the rest of the week. So opening the palms, opening every cell to receive whatever is coming down right now. And I encourage you to stay here in Shabbat pose for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, we'll end together. So rolling onto the side, coming up to a seated. And I just want to leave you with a quote from the Torah this month. Moshe says to the people, Hashikesu Shema Yisrael Hayom. And he says Shema, which means be quiet, pay attention, internalize, listen. And when Moshe says Shema to the people, he's activating this inner sense of deep listening, because to receive divine wisdom, we have to be quiet and pay attention and listen. And Rabbi Nachman says the heart hears. So as much as hearing is in our ears, our heart hears. We enter the heart space to listen deeply and pay attention to one another. So I bless us all this month that we can delve inwards and listen to our own wisdom, our own bodies and breath and godly soul. And that will allow us to listen to our loved ones and those around us. Chodesh Tov, have a beautiful month. If you haven't already, please subscribe at breathandsoul.net for more Jewish yoga content. See you soon.